If you're a little intrigued by midi dresses, but you don't know if you can pull them off, stay tuned. I have 5 tips for wearing a midi dress over 40 in today's video. Hi, this is Netta. Welcome to my channel. My whole goal for this channel is to help you build a wardrobe and a style that you love so you look beautiful and feel confident every single day. I'm really excited today to talk to you about midi dresses because this is a fear of mine that I've conquered, and I would like for you to conquer them too, because let's face it, trying new things as we get older helps us stay younger. And when midi dresses first came out, I was like, about that. Like, they reminded me too much of the dresses I wore in the 80s and early 90s. The cottagecore trend definitely reminds me of the Laura Ashley dresses from like late 80s, early 90s when I was in college. Some of the dresses remind me of like 9 to 5. Remember the movie 9 to 5 and the dresses Jane Fonda would wear, like the office dresses from the 80s. So I was really hesitant about this trend. But if you've tried, and it's not even a trend now, it's just the way dresses look. But if you've tried shopping for a classic knit sheath dress in your, in your local department store for work or for church lately, you'll know that a classic knee-length sheath dress is hard to come by right now. You're going to find midi dresses or you're going to find mini dresses. You're not going to find knee-length dresses very easily. That doesn't mean they're out of style. They're definitely classic and they're definitely flattering on a lot of women, but you're going to find a lot more midi dresses. So if you're looking for dresses, let me help you find and choose a midi dress that's really going to be flattering. There are some advantages of midis, even for those of us who are petite. So one of the advantages, of course, is that you have a little bit more modesty, a little bit more coverage. If you don't love your legs, a midi dress can help you choose how much of your leg or how little of your leg to expose in a way that you will find the most flattering. So that's a big advantage of a midi dress. Another is comfort. I wore this one. I'll pop up a little video of this dress. I've shown it in a previous video. I wore this one to church on Sunday, and before church we volunteer with the babies, and we had a cute little crying 6-month-old in the nursery, and I was on the floor up and down and up and down and up and down playing with this baby with this dress on. It is light and breezy and comfortable, but also I can move around in it. Whereas if I was wearing like a knee-length fitted sheath dress, I wouldn't have been able to do that as easily. So there are definite advantages. Comfort, modesty, deciding, like I said, how much and how little of your legs to expose. There are definite advantages of midi dresses and midi skirts. But like I said, the key is to find one that is going to be flattering to you. So I'm going to show you, again, I worked with Dillard's on this video. I really appreciate them letting me come in and try on all the cute clothes and show everything to you. But I really wanted to give you a wide range of examples of types of dresses that you're going to see in stores this season and what can work and not work about them. Before I start, let me say that there were a couple of these dresses that really surprised me. And I'm saying they surprised me as someone who shops all the time for myself and for other people, and I feel like I've got a pretty good handle on what's going to be flattering on my body and what's not going to be flattering on my body, because that's what I do, right? Try on a dress. If it's remotely interesting to you, try it on, because you will be surprised by the dresses that end up being flattering. Why? Because it all comes down to fit. If a midi dress fits you properly, it will be flattering. If it does not fit you properly, it will not be flattering. That's the end of that's where it's at, really. A flattering midi dress is going to be one that fits well. So you won't know that until you put it on your body. And a couple of these dresses, and I'll tell you which ones when I get to them, really surprised me. So this first dress illustrates my first principle, which is try a fitted midi dress. So if you are feeling like you're going to be overwhelmed by fabric and you're petite like I am, try a fitted style. Now, just because it's a midi dress doesn't mean it has to be flowy and voluminous and big and involve lots, yards and yards of fabric. Now this one from Antonio Milani, this is their Roxanne dress. I featured this in a previous video in a plaid, but it is ruched and shirred all the way down the body, and it's a button style, button front shirt dress style. This dress is so flattering. I think you'll agree. It looks it looks flattering. This is a great dress for work, for church, for a kind of a professional event, any event where you need to kind of step it up a little. This would be a great event, a great dress for any kind of presentation that you're doing. It's just very, very elegant, and at the same time lightweight and comfortable and easy to wear. So it's the Roxanne shirt dress from Antonio Milani. I believe it's about $189. I will put the information, as always, in the description box. But because of the ruching, because of the fact that this dress is fitted but not skin tight, that's a key. It's fitted. It skims the body like a sheath dress, but it's not skin tight, and it lands, at a flattering spot on my calf, because that's another detail you're going to look for midi dresses. Where do they end? The one thing that you do not want is for the midi dress to end at the widest spot on your calf. Now, not only is this going to make your legs look wider, which in my case is not necessarily a bad thing because my calves are really skinny, but it will also make your legs look shorter, and that's something I don't want. So you want the midi dress or midi skirt to land either above or below the widest spot of your calf. So you're going to find that these dresses, this one is a little bit above the widest spot on my calf, and you're going to find that others hit lower. And so you just want to avoid making a line right there at that widest spot on your leg. Okay, so this is, like I said, the Antonio Milani Roxanne dress, and this is an example of a fitted midi dress. So if you have reservations about midi dresses because of all the fabric, I would suggest trying a more fitted style. Okay, the next principle of midi dresses I'm going to illustrate with this dress from A Loves A, and that's to belt it. So many of the midi dresses right now we're seeing are, have these tiers, which this dress has, and have lots of volume, which this dress also has, but they do not have any waist definition. It is really, really hard to wear a dress like this without a defined waist. Can it be done? I don't know. Maybe if you're 6 feet tall and weigh, 100 pounds. But anybody who has, anybody with a normal body type is going to find it really hard to wear a voluminous dress like this without a defined waist. Now, if you look at this dress is completely covered. Now, this hits well below the middle of my calf. The arms are covered and they're full, and the neckline is higher. I unbuttoned that top button, but the neckline is higher. So we're not showing skin hardly anywhere. That is going to be this is one of the reasons, this is one of the dresses that I was like, I don't think that's going to work for me. But the belting at the waist and the fact that the fabric is not stiff but is soft and flowy made this dress a lot more flattering. So definitely you need a waist definition on a dress with a lot of volume. A couple of weeks ago in one of my videos, I featured a dress from Courtney Grow for Antonio Milani, and it was a very voluminous midi dress, and I belted that dress because that was the only way that a dress like that was going to be flattering on me. And when I belted it, it was a lot more flattering. So definitely look for a midi dress that has a belt detail. If you don't love a belt detail, then I would suggest a different midi dress than this overly flowy style, because it's going to be really hard to wear without that belt. Okay, the third principle, that dress was from A Loves A. Now, another dress from A Loves A that I want to show illustrates my third principle, which is to show a little skin. Now, in this case, I'm showing very little skin. It's really just the neckline being open, having a V-neck, and the sleeve being a little shorter and less poofy. That makes this dress more flattering and a little bit easier to wear. This dress has actually been a bestseller for Dillard's. That and the blue and white dress that I showed before have both been bestsellers because they really are both quite flattering on a lot of body types. So this dress has an open neckline, and it's a little bit shorter, and it's a little bit less voluminous. So this is a great starter midi dress if you're considering a midi dress and a little daunted by how to wear it. But keeping that neckline open, showing this area of your body like I am in this dress, and then showing the lower part of your arms and the lower part of your legs is going to keep you from feeling like you are swallowed up by fabric. So third principle of midi dresses, show a little bit of skin. Okay, the next midi dress I want to show you. This is from Lucy Paris, I believe. And I know I styled this in a funky way with my Sumi Sura boots that I love, but I could not resist pairing these boots with this dress. Yes, it would be more flattering with a different pair of shoes, but I just decided to take the hit because I love the way that dress looked with those boots. That said, this is another example of showing a little bit of skin, but my fourth principle is to consider a slit. This dress has a slit detail in the front and an open square neckline. So again, we're showing some skin, but a slit in a longer dress or a longer skirt can really make you feel like you are balancing out the extra fabric in the dress. Now, this dress is also like a silky drapey material. It's not like a stiffer cotton poplin like a lot of the midi dresses are. So it drapes really nicely. It does not have a lot of volume. Another detail that this dress has that makes it easier, in my opinion, to wear and more flattering and also really comfortable is a smocked top. So that smocking detail, whether you find it at the waist, which I love, or you find it at the top, can make, it's basically going to make that part of the dress more flattering, more fitted without being too tight and uncomfortable, and will therefore make it more flattering. Again, this dress has voluminous sleeves, so I'm showing a little leg, I'm showing the neckline area, and I'm showing the lower half of my arms to balance out that look. So consider a slit in a midi dress. Reformation is the brand that first started them years ago, that front slit. Some of them are a little high, so you're gonna have to play with that. But a slit in a midi dress can make it a lot easier to wear if it's something that you're a little struggling with. This one is not high, which makes it really, really wearable. Okay, the last thing I would want to say is to try something out of the box. Now, again, this is an example of trying on a dress when you really, really don't know whether it's going to work for you. I tried on this midi from, I actually don't remember the brand of this. I'll put that in the description box below. But this is obviously a holiday kind of dress. And when I first looked at this, I was like, oh my gosh, I had a dress just like that in the 80s. I'm not doing that again, like not a chance. I decided to put it on just to see what it looks like, and I was pleasantly surprised. So it has a smocked waist detail, and it's a silky fabric. So because of the smocked waist and the silky fabric, the dress hangs rather than standing away from my body. And because it's flowy like that, I find it a lot more flattering and a lot easier to wear than a similar style in a crisp or stiff fabric. So sometimes you just have to put a dress on to see if it's going to work for you. And like I said, this isn't probably my top pick from these 5, but but I love it, and it's a lot more flattering than I expected it to be when I first put it on. So try something out of the box. Try that dress that you're like, I really like the color, I really like the pattern, but that looks like a crazy dress. I don't know if I can wear that dress. I don't know if I can pull it off. You will not know until you put it on, because at the end of the day, it really comes down to flattery. So just to quickly recap my rules, my suggestions for finding flattering midi dresses. If you've been intrigued by midi dresses, if you've been wanting to try them, if you have been frustrated by the fact that you can't find anything but midi dresses in stores, then let me give you some guidance and some suggestions on how to find those midi dresses that are going to work for you. So the first one, that Antonio Milani dress, we talked about starting maybe with a more fitted style. A style that has some flattery details built in, like ruching, a style that is more tailored, because you're going to be able to wear that longer length in an easier and more flattering way if the style is a little bit more tailored. The next tip is to belt it. Really, if you're going to go with a midi dress, you have to have waist definition. You have to have some waist definition. If you do not have waist definition, you're going to look like you're wearing a shower curtain or a tablecloth or something else crazy. Like, it's just not going to work. Waist definition is key. The third is to show a little bit of skin. One of the reasons a midi dress can be overwhelming is that we are covering everything. And like I said, alluding back to that shower curtain or that tablecloth, you don't want that effect. You want to show a little bit of skin. So this one, also from A Loves A, I told you, shows a little bit of skin at the neckline, at the lower arm, or this part of your arm, and the lower leg. Okay, the fourth one is to consider a slit and smocking. A slit and smocking are two details in midi dresses that can really make them more flattering. Again, it's about balancing out all that fabric by showing a little bit of strategic skin, right? While still keeping it modest, still keeping it comfortable, still keeping it wearable. And then finally, try them on. Try them on. You're not going to know if a midi dress is going to work for you or a specific midi dress is going to work for you until you put it on your body. This one with its puffy sleeves and fabric, all the extra fabric and everything, really did not expect this to work as well as it did. It has that high, like puffy, dramatic sleeve thing going on, but it does have a smocked waist and it has this flowy fabric, and it just ultimately, I felt like it worked, and it worked a lot better than I expected it to. So don't be afraid to try on clothes. It's not like hair. We don't have to commit to it. Like you put it on, you don't like it, you take it off. So try on new styles. Try on something that might be a little bit out of the box for you. You might surprise yourself. Maybe none of these midi dresses are